Hello and welcome to the video. In this video, we will discuss triple sum, a problem from the search section in the HackerRank interview preparation kit playlist. You can check that out here. And it is marked as a medium problem and for score 40. I think this is a kind of lengthier problem than the usual medium problems, but no worries, we'll get it covered. And for this particular problem, we will go with the flow. So first, we'll discuss problem definition. After that, explanation, which will have the basic explanation and the advanced, or we can say optimized explanation, which will be further followed by the optimized code. So if you are in hurry, you can either watch it at 2x or you can directly skip to the part whichever you like. So let's start first with the problem definition. Here in this particular problem, we will be provided with three arrays, that is A, B, C, of variable length, or you can say different sizes, and we need to return number of count of triplets that can be formed for the two condition. Which are those two condition? First, the first element, or from the PQR, first element needs to be belong, or it should come from the first array, that is A. Second element, or Q, should come from B, that is the second array, and third element should be coming from the third array, that is C. And the most important condition is the middle element. So if you see this particular example, we can say that A, B, C. The second element, or the Q, needs to be greater than or equal to the from the first element. First element, I'm meaning to say that the element which comes from the first array, and from the third array element. Okay, so this is the important condition, and we need to return number of count of triplets that can be formed, and we need to again return the distinct triplets. So we'll calculate how this particular problem can be worked out, and let's move ahead to the explanation part. So I'll be taking this particular example and we'll see how you can solve this particular problem. Okay, so let's start with the basic approach. So I feel it is important, or it is must, to solve the particular problem using the basic step first, be it in the exponential range in the terms of time complexity, but we need to know how to solve a particular problem, and after that only we need to go for the optimization. So let's start with the basic approach, and one of the way to find all the triplets is basically using a for loop. So let's say we use a for loop first for array A, and we'll iterate from 0 to the size of array A. Secondly, let's take another for loop which will be working for array that is B. So it will again go from 0 to, that is length, it is 2 in this case, and again one more for loop, and which will be working for C. So using 3 for loops, we will get all the what you can say, all the triplets which can be formed. So it will be 3 3 4 3 6 4, all the possible triplets will be formed using this. So we have number of triplets, so these are the possible pairs. So again we have one important condition, that first element is less than or equal to, that is the second element, and again second element is greater than that of third element. So if you see, we need to have a Q, or the middle element, to be greater than the rest of two, or equal in case. So let's check. These are the possible pairs, and we need to find which are the following triplets satisfy this particular condition. So let's check. So in this case, 3 and 3. So 3 is not highest because we have 4, and this fails this particular condition, so we'll discard it. Similarly for this, 6 is higher than that of 3, so we'll discard it. Similarly for this. So in this case, we can see that the middle element is greater than the first and second as well. So this particular triplet satisfies our condition. Similarly, again this particular triplet satisfies our condition. So we have second element that is greater than or equal to third, and greater or equal to first. So we got two triplet as of now. So this again fails because we have highest value than the middle element. Similarly for this, we know that both values for this particular value is highest on both sides, so this fails. Similarly this again this. So this is the case where we get our distinct triplet. So middle element is greater than the rest of the elements. Similarly here, middle element is greater or equal to the rest of two. So as of now we got the 4 pairs, so this is again discarded. So if we see, first element is 7 and the middle element is 3, so we can discard all 3. Similarly 7 and 6, we can again discard all 3. So if we see, we got only 4 pairs or 4 triplets which satisfy our condition. So if we see, we got 18 different combinations which are possible for the given array, and out of 18 only 4 were useful, which we could return. So if we see, we are doing lot of computation which are not necessarily required, and this is the part where we can optimize. So what we need to optimize is number of comparisons. So in this particularly basic approach, we are doing 18 comparisons and we need to optimize this particular part. So how we can do this is, if you see the example closely, we have been given in the sorted order. So if you see 3, 5, 7, 3, 6, 4, 6, 7. So this is a blessing in disguise. So having array in a sorted array which helps us a lot. Why? Because we want our middle element to be the highest than that of the first and third. So what we can do is, we can directly check how many elements are possible which are highest or greater than 3 or equal to 3. So in this case, let's check. So I'm taking this as an example for 3. So we will be having a left array. We'll see how many elements which are lesser or equal to 3, and again we are checking for right array. So we can say first array, third array. So you can decide your nomenclature. So this is just for explanation part. So in first array, we'll see, so 3 is greater or equal to 3. So we can count one element satisfies this condition. After that 3, we will move on to 5. So if you see, 5 is greater than that of 3. So we cannot take 5, and this particular condition fails. Which condition? We talked about P is less than that of Q, and again Q is greater than that of R. So this fails. So we'll not count the further checkings or the elements, because we have a sorted array. So that means all the elements after 5 will be higher than that of 5 and requires no checking. Similarly, on the right hand side, we want this particular element to be higher or equal to that first element. So if we see, we have 4 here and 3 is not greater or equal to 4. So that means the elements from right array will be 0, because 4 is the first array and we have a sorted order. So that means all the rest of the elements will be higher than that of 4. So we don't need any checking. So if in this case, we can see that a middle element, that is 3, will only have one element which satisfies condition from first array or A array. However, there is no element which satisfies the condition comes from C array. So that means we cannot form a pair for a 3. Okay. So in this case, if you see, we have discarded almost 9 comparison by simple checking. What we did in the first part was, we computed all the possible triplets, that were the 18, and 3 holds for the 9 comparison because it's a middle element. Similarly, because we do not have any elements on the right hand side, it's 0. So that it will tell us that there is no possible pairs. So we will not compute the 9 computations. Okay. So we already saved 50% on our basic approach. So let's again move ahead with the 6. So for 6 as a middle element, so let's see how it works. For 6 as a middle element, let's check how many elements satisfy this particular condition on the left hand side. So 3 is less than that of 6. Okay. 5 is less than that of 6. Again plus 1. 7 is not less than that of 6 or equal to. So we have 2 elements on the left hand side which satisfy the condition, this condition, and on right hand side 4 is less than that of 6. Okay. 6 again less than or equal to 6. So this again counts. However, this particular condition fails for 9. So again we have 2 elements on the right hand side which satisfy this particular condition. So if we see, we can multiply 2 into 2. So this is a basic combination. So we'll get total 4 pairs. And yes, the answer is again total number of distinct pairs are possible is 4. So if you see, the number of pairs will be for 6 only. So that will be 3, 6, 6 as a middle element. So we can have a 4 here. We can have second element as a 5, 6, 4, and again 2 more pairs which will be 3 and one more 5, 6 and 6. So these are the 4 pairs which we were to find. So if you see in the problem, it almost solves our problem, but there is a catch. In the problem definition, if you saw, we need to return number of distinct pairs. So because this was a problem given in a sorted order and also in distinct forms, it was a blessing in disguise. So if this particular problem was, let's say this particular array was 4 4 6 6 and this was again, let's consider 3 3 6. So in this case we would be have multiple triplets which won't be distinct. So in this case there are two solutions for this case. First, we can calculate total number of possible combinations which satisfy this case, and using basic combination, permutation combination, you can divide, or you can use the formula NCR and then find number of the distinct pairs. However, there is an easy way out here in the terms of programming. You can use programming methods which will again give you the distinct pairs. After that we will sort the elements and then we'll find or use the condition to check how many pairs are possible. So in a nutshell, let me write a summary for this. So let's create an observation deck. In this particular observation deck, we will write, first we need to sort the elements. We saw why we are sorting it, because it saves our lot of computation. So first is sorting. After that we need to get the distinct pairs or distinct triplets, hence we need to have the distinct element. So second would be getting the distinct elements. So we can use different types of container to get those distinct pairs, or if your language supports distinct function like JavaScript, you can directly go and use it. After that, using distinct, we will do the comparisons, or we'll check the condition, and after comparisons we will return the count. Okay, so these are the 4 steps or basic steps which will give us the optimized result for this particular solution. So let's go ahead and solve this particular example or write code for it. So if there is an issue, I hope it will get cleared there. So let's start with the coding, and we know by now we are following the same. First we need to check 2 important conditions. First, what is input and how it is being taken. So let's check the constraints. So length of array is in the range of 10 to the power 5. So int would do, and the elements are in the range of 10 to the power 8. So we can choose long, or you can again go with the int. So if there is an issue, we can again improvise. And the input format is, first we'll take length A, length B, length C, and after that they will give us the elements which are in the array. So this is the basic sample input. Size of array, and all the following lines will be all elements in that particular array. So let's start writing code. So let me write a basic template first, and after that we'll start. So let's start writing the code, and we have our observation deck. So first we need to sort, distinct, comparison, and then count. Before doing that, we need to take the input into our array. So let's start. We'll take the len A. So we'll follow the basic nomenclature given by them, len A, len B, len C, and for all these value we would be taking input. So in this case, for our array we will be using vector. So let me take a long variable as input, and we need to declare the vector. So vector will be of size long, and let me have A, B, C as 3 arrays, and we need to take the input. So what we'll do is, for I is equal to 0, and it will basically go for len A in this case, because we are taking input for first array or array A, I plus plus. Here input will be taken C in input, and we will push back this input into our array. So this will basically A dot pushback input. Okay, so we need to copy this particular code 3 times, because we have same function or same array, we can say, with only different, let me correct it. Okay, so here the condition will change to A is less than that of B. Input will be same. We want to push elements into B. Similarly here we want to push element into the C array, and len will be len C. Okay, we haven't as of now taken the input for len A, len B, len C. So let's go ahead and do that. So it will be len A, len B, and len C. Okay, we have taken input for the length, and for each length we have declared 3 arrays A, B, C, and we have taken the input into the array, that is A, B, C. Okay, now we know that we need to sort it. After sorting, we need to get the distinct values, and then the comparison. But what if I tell you we can do the sorting and distinct using one container only? So you can use set, so that will by default get all the elements into the sorted array, and set do not entertain duplicate elements. So again set will give us the sorted and the distinct element. So how we can push this particular elements into the set is, so how we can push the elements into the set is, first we need to declare the set. So let's consider this to be long. Let's give the name of set, let's call it set1, and we need to give the input, or we can directly copy the elements from the vector to set. So how we can do this is directly a dot begin and a dot end. So what this particular line or statement will ensure that we are copying all the elements, inserting all the elements, let me write it, into the set 1. Similarly again this code is becoming lots of copy paste, because we have 3 arrays and the similar operations. So this will be B and then C. So we need to just change the values. This will be set 2. Similarly we will have a set 3, and for A we will have B begin and B dot end, because we have 2 arrays. Similarly this will be C dot begin and C dot end. Now we have the sets, we have the distinct, and we can directly cross it off. So we got the elements sorted using the set. Also we got the elements into the distinct form using the set. However, doing the operation on set is quite costly, or we can say quite confusing. So what we can do is we can copy all the elements from the set into our array, back to our array. So this can be used or can be done using assign function. So what we can do is we will say a dot assign, and what we want to assign is the values from the set. So this will be set1 dot begin and set1 dot end. So this will basically copy all the elements from the set to our vector. So this is done for the first array. Similarly we'll again copy the elements. So let me do it as set1 here. So we need to again do this for 3 times, because A, B, C. So we want to copy the elements from this second set as well and third set as well. So let me just replace A with B, and here it will be set 2. Similarly set 2 here. So I know it could be quite confusing if you are not well versed with the STL function or set or the vector. So rest be assured, you can directly read about this function assign and sets on the Geeks for Geeks. If you still have having doubt, do let me know in the comments. I'll happy to help you there. So again I have missed semicolon for all the statement, and this could have been an easy error. So let me complete it. Now I'm assuming for up till now you got all the logic. What we did is, first we take the input into array, then we copied the input into the set, so that way we got the sorted and distinct values, and after that, getting the sorted values here, we copied all the sorted and distinct values again to the array, because array operation is quite similar or simple, and again it is user friendly to the new or beginner. So we did that. After doing this, we need to find how many numbers are that is less in the first array and in the second or third array. So let's start. So what we can do is, so we want to check for the second array, because second array is a very pivotal, or the Q value, because it holds 2 comparison, because P and R do not hold any relation with them, but the Q is important. So we will take I is less than that of what we can say B dot size, and here what we'll do is we will increment value of I. So as we discussed in the first part, we took the left and the right variable to check how many values are possible. So what we can do is, we'll let's say declare one variable left. So let me go ahead and do that. So let me long left and right. So what it will be basically do is, it will hold the values which are less than or equal to on the left hand side or the left array, that is first array, and similarly right will hold the values which are less than or equal to the middle element in the third array. So left here, rather than doing the comparison like we checked with for the 3, what we can do is we'll check for the upper bound of that particular element. So again, this is a quite not much of optimization, but still on optimization on writing the code. So what we can do is we'll find the upper bound. So what upper bound returns is, it returns an iterator value, but we cannot use iterator value to, or we cannot assign the iterator value to the log and you do the numerals, because we again have to multiply. So what we'll do is we will subtract a dot begin. So this will give us the numeral value or numeric value, which can again multiply it. So in the upper bound function, what we need to pass is the array and the elements for which we are looking for upper bound. So it will be a dot begin, because we want to search for element in array first. So first array is a, array a begin, a dot end, and the elements which we need to find. So this is b of ith, because we are iterating using I. So this will give the number of values which are less than that of q in a array. Similarly, we'll copy the same value or the statement. I think I did not copy it, so let me copy it. Similarly, we'll have the same values for the right. So right is equal to upper bound. So for this it will be c dot begin, c dot end, and the elements again b of ith, and here we will subtract c dot begin. And after getting this value, so if you see in the explanation part, we got 2 on left, 2 on right, and we multiplied in order to get the value. So similarly we again do that. So it will be left into right. However, we need to store this value somewhere. So what we'll do is we'll declare another variable, let's say long count. I'll initialize value to the 0 because it's incrementing. So it will be stored in count. So count plus is equal to left into right. So it will be storing all the distinct triplet into the count, and after that we can return the count here. So this will be C out count. So let's check. I think this particular code is okay. So I feel there could be issues. So let's check if there is any compilation error. So after that we'll surely improvise on that part. So yes, we get the compilation because there are a lot of things here. So one of the issue is we cannot convert b dot size into the ith value. So let me try with bracket, and we misspelled upper bound. So one of the way of using upper bound in C++ is upper underscore bound. So let's check if it works or not. If not, we'll separately calculate b dot size and then assign to I. Yes, it works. So let's check for all the condition or the hidden condition. So what we did is we first take the input. After taking the input, we passed it to the set. We will get the sorted and the distinct values. We copied that elements again into the array, and after getting it into our array, what we did is we calculated the left part and the right part. On the left part, we check for upper bound for the element b of ith. On the right, we check upper bound on b of ith, and after getting, we will multiply it left into right. We'll store it into count, and we got the result. So if you can see, it passes all the hidden test case as well. So if you are someone who is trying to solve all the problems from HackerRank interview preparation kit, do check other videos, and thank you for watching. Have a great rest of the day.